Welcome to the SBA podcast, the official podcast of the School of Business Administration at Andrews University. Here, we dive deep into the conversations with our esteemed faculty, successful alumni, and ambitious students about their internship experiences.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Andrews University School of Business podcast. I'm here with, what's your name?
Diego Duran.
I'm here with Diego Duran. We're going to be talking about his experience as an intern. Where did you intern at,
I
Diego?
interned at Adventist Health in California.
Okay, what was your title when you were there?
Operations. So operations management, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, Diego, I'm going to first ask you also what grade, what class you're in, what's your major, and how long you've been at Andrews.
Yeah. Well, I've been here for 5 years, so I'm my
Okay.
5th year.
All right.
I'm doing business management, and I'm also doing BA music.
Okay.
Hopefully going to graduate this upcoming May. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Okay. Awesome. So let's talk about your internship. So for your internship, where were you located? Did you have to move? Where are you originally from as well? So like,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, originally, all the way back, I was born in Venezuela.
Okay.
I lived there for about 15 years, I'd say. Then I moved here when I was 15-ish to South Carolina. Stayed there for like a year. Then went to Academy, North Carolina, and ended up here at Andrews. So parents live in the DMV right now.
Okay.
So yeah, going to Cali for the internship was definitely a little bit tricky at first because I had to like plan the road trip. I knew it was gonna be somewhat of a secluded area.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Ukiah, so it's kind of like Berrien Springs but bigger.
Oh yeah.
Honestly. So not having a car would have been kind of a problem.
Yeah.
And I still can't rent a car. So I mean I'm 22 now, but I don't know if you can really do that.
Yeah, you can't really do
Yeah.
that in most places. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just decided that I had to drive and whatnot. So that was, I think it was like a 36-hour trip. I divided it into like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a flat tire on my way there.
Wow.
In Wyoming, middle of nowhere. Called insurance, and they said, "Oh, like where you're at, like we can help you." So a lot of stuff happened, but we got there. So yeah.
Got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was that adjustment? You're there. Did you have anyone from Andrews that was there with you, or no?
Where I was at specifically, no.
Okay.
My roommate, he was from La Sierra.
Okay.
His name was Lucas.
Okay.
So it's Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got there a little bit later than me. He had like school going on or something. But yeah, no. There were some other people from Andrews, but they were in different locations.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So for that type of internship, some people probably wonder what is healthcare. When you're at a business internship, at a hospital, what does that really look like? Are you involved with patients? Are you in like an office that people don't really see? Like, where is it that you really are doing your thing? So give some insight onto what that's like.
Yeah. So in my opinion, for this specific internship with Adventist Health, everybody gets a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're working on a specific project, and so based on that project is what you're able to see and what you're not able to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you get like an overall look at the healthcare administration and all that stuff, but it will depend on what you're doing. So for me, I got like a really good look at pharmacy and nursing departments since my project was based on that. Some other people have really good experience with HR, which I didn't really get in touch with that, or finance or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it depends.
Okay, that's good. Like, so what was your day to day look like? As an intern, were you in the office at 9, or did you guys have like a different type of schedule from a 9 to 5? Like, what was your day to day like? What did that look like for you?
Most days, yeah, it was 9 to 5. You could come in earlier if you want, but sometimes I had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I had to go in like at 5 because I had some shadowing to do.
Okay.
At the pavilion, they had to do like surgeries, and that involves like a lot of prep. And so it was also related to my project.
Yeah.
But there were also other days that I found myself knowing that I had like very little to do, and mostly it would be on Fridays, and people would leave the office early on Fridays.
Yeah.
So even trying to find extra things to do before the weekend was hard because everybody was like, "No, you're good. You can go."
Okay.
So yeah, it would depend on that, but mostly 9 to 5.
And you were talking about your project. Like, what was your three main responsibilities that you had that you can actually talk about? You know?
Yeah. So the project was based on BCMA. That stands for Barcode Medication Administration. Basically, it's a system that hospitals have to track a patient and the medication that's administered to the patient, so that it's provided safely and also like with accuracy, right?
Yeah.
So in California, they have like a standard that they have to be about 95% or above with compliance rates to be eligible for more funding and all that stuff, and just better gradings on like their Leapfrog website, which is kind of like this like national thing that just grades hospitals and see like they compare like who's doing better, all that.
Yeah.
And so that's really important to them. And so I think before I got there, they had 93.9% compliance rates, and I had to improve it to 95% or above. So that was the main responsibility. There are other side tasks such as like shadowing like HR for like a day, like stuff like that on the list that would be given. Some people had more projects, like smaller projects, but for some others like me, I had like a big one that I had to focus on. So that was the main thing.
That sounds like a lot of. So like, was it a thing where it was like a team of you guys, or was it just a team of you guys that had to work on that compliance rate, or was it just you had to work on that compliance rate alone?
So for the project, it was assigned to me, but I was able to work with a team that I had to assemble myself.
Okay.
Type thing. Like I had to look for people that had experience in the field, like they know how the process works. And based on that, I was able to like get help from them and just kind of like work with them together, honestly. So like kind of I assembled a team like midway through. Yeah. And then we were able to like, have some initiatives for the hospital and then see improvements in the score. So yeah. So
like you were given some leadership roles like right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? Like did that make you feel like, yeah, I'm ready for that, or were you like very much like, whoa, like how do I go about that?
Yeah. Honestly, it was both.
Okay.
Like I wanted to succeed so badly, but at the same time, that excitement comes with a lot of like questioning too. It's like, oh, I want to succeed at this, but like I have zero knowledge on the subject. So how can I do that?
Yeah.
And obviously, if the project was assigned to me, it has to be doable. That was something that I knew. It's not impossible. Like it has to be doable. So yeah, it was just a mixture of that. But as I went through the days and stuff, I learned more about it and kind of became like, I want to say like an expert, but I was really familiar with the subject by the end of the internship.
So you did a lot. Yeah. So did you feel like you had to do a lot of homework after to make sure you knew what you were doing?
No, for sure. I would go to work and try to learn as much as possible, and even after work, like when I went home, I would like do more research because I knew that to improve a process. It's just like basic process improvement stuff. Like you have to know what you're working with, and so for me, it's like I didn't know what I was working with. Yeah. And I had to like make sure that it wasn't just like I would look it up and know. I had to know it like by heart.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I think in any field, you need to become like obsessed or like a nerd about it because you then, you might not want to say it out loud, but you're a master at it, after a while. Like, of course, there's room for improvement, things to learn.
For sure.
But if you don't become a little obsessed, with it, you don't get much better at it, and, the 8 hours of work isn't always enough for you to learn when you're trying to do something like that for a hospital. Would you say that was your biggest accomplishment that you feel like?
Yeah, honestly, like I said at the beginning, like I wanted to succeed, and I knew it was doable, but I didn't think it would be as good as it came out, honestly, because midway through, we were working through the processes and stuff, and we saw some of the decline in like the rates, which was not good. Like that's not what we were, I was there, and then I was hoping to see an increase in the rates as the days went by, but there was like this month that everything went down, and I was like, oh, something went wrong. But that's part of process improvement. You have to kind of try something, it doesn't work, then, track. Track back, and then just do it again.
How did that make you feel, because did you feel a little like, dang, like maybe I am not able to do it, or did you decide, well, I need to stay focused? And also, if you did feel that way, was there anybody that, like helped you, in that process when you were there? Like any mentors, any like teammates that you definitely felt like were like, nah, it's fine, we didn't get there yet, but we can keep going? Or you did?
So I definitely felt that way when that happened. It's more like of a frustration because from the administration side of things, like they really care about the compliance rates. But it's a process that we track it, but it doesn't involve us really. Like it involves pharmacy, providers, and caregivers, like nurses, right? But for them, they have a different perspective on the whole process. And so that will kind of lead to them not caring as much about it, because they can still administer medication without following that exact routine when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So that affects our scores.
It's about how they do it. And getting them to buy in to doing it that way.
Exactly.
That's very true.
That's kind of the reason why we saw some of the decline. And maybe a little bit frustrated, like, oh, like I wish they were doing it, but at the same time, I had to like seek to understand, like they have a whole different like perspective on the process. It's more convenient for them sometimes to do it in a way that doesn't follow that specific routine. So when it came to that, I was working with my supervisor. His name was Dave, and I told him about it. I showed him like what I have been working on, like all the data that I've been tracking, and that's when he introduced me the idea of like, this is what process improvement is. Like you have to track what went wrong, what is going wrong, what's going right, and then from that like build a whole new plan. And so he never said anything like negative, because he's dealt with it a lot, because that's normal. You just have to find a way through that process.
It's very true. I mean, also being able to just do that, like building up those plans and processes. Do you feel like there's certain things that you definitely learned here that you didn't realize would be helping you out in the real world? Like what were some classes that you feel like you took little things from to help you in your internship?
That's a good question. Honestly, I do remember like struggling to like answer that myself when I was at the internship, because it was so much healthcare stuff really. And I feel like if I take it maybe like healthcare administration, or like whatever the class is called, like foundations of healthcare, I don't know, if I had taken that, maybe I think it would have been an advantage, more of an advantage. But I do think like basic accounting classes that we had, that helped me to like track data when it came to like finance stuff, and also what was the class with what was it called? You have to like do a lot of work with like Excel and whatnot.
Information systems.
Information systems.
Information systems 1 and 2.
That helped me the most, because they use Microsoft like crazy. And so for me, I didn't have to use anything like like do anything advanced, but like also like what was given to me, I didn't have to like use Excel, but because I knew how to use Excel, I was able to like track my own data and just do a better of a job. So yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
Because those are really like, I don't know, I would say like a skill that you need to work any job almost. So,
it is. To be able to read it as well. To be able to read a spreadsheet properly, and then also like if you want to extrapolate certain things out of it, how do I do that? Yeah. Those are very important. What other stuff, like, you know, because you went straight to like, you know, in a leadership type of role in that internship, do you feel like there's certain skills that you possibly learn from, say, a management class? For example, like, which management classes did you take?
That I've taken so far, to list them out, I don't really remember, but maybe I definitely taken principles of management. Yeah. I think I've taken operations management already. Yeah. It was a while ago. So stuff like that, I would say like it is useful, but mostly when it comes to like taking initiatives and stuff like that, you have to just get better at talking to people. And being at school here, it helps you if you're involved. If you're involved in the clubs, if you try to like make connections, learn how to make connections here, you're able to learn how to make connections outside of school. And so I think that's, aside from classes and stuff, really like that's one of the most important things.
Like you've been able to learn just more social skills and things like that. With different types of people too, because it's a very diverse campus. So you end up having to interact with everybody. So that's really good though, because I would say, for example, for me, when I came back to work, there's a lot of things where I'm doing stuff, or like when I do stuff freelance and I'm working and I'm like, man, like I remember working on this project, this graphic design project, a long time ago, or say, my principles of marketing class, learning how to like writing a 10-page marketing plan, right? I have to do that for work now all the time, or presenting those types of ideas to boards and stuff. So that is it is true. There's a lot of things a lot of good teachers, and also just a lot of good like coursework for sure.
It actually reminded me of something. I did use, what's it called, Canva a lot.
You did, right?
Yeah, and I learned how to use Canva because of principles of marketing. Yeah. And they also create handouts for the nurses to learn how to like scan certain medication. And they actually love the layout because, Canva is just very it's easy to read if you like do it correctly, right?
It's user-friendly. It's really user-friendly,
And it just looks good, Yeah. So that helped a lot because they were like, what is this? What's this software? I just thought I even knew how to use it. Yeah. But that was, probably another thing that helped me a lot.
That's so interesting because I know, like for me as a graphic designer, a lot of things, like graphic designers hate on Canva, but now that I'm working, in the department, we use a lot of Canva. So much Canva for posters. On a university campus, we use so much of it because it's so user-friendly and things are nice on it as well. So that's a good thing that you're able to use that. That's so interesting.
Yeah. I think it's just a good platform because you don't really have to be super, super creative to like make a poster. It literally helps you make it.
It helps you make it now, So. And now with AI too, it's helping. It's helping more. Exactly. What are some of the things that you feel like, like your after work, when it came to after work, like was it a place where after work they really encourage interns to hang? Did interns hang out after work? Was that type of place?
So where I was at, I was with my roommate. He was another intern too. He was doing finance. And that was just us, man. Like I think the resident at the time, I don't know if she's still there. Her name is Danielle, but she was like older than us at that point. Like I think we just kind of did our own thing, right? So they would like encourage us to like go out and like try different restaurants around the area because they did have a lot of food. I mean, it's Cali, so like you find food anywhere.
So much food, yeah,
and it was really good. I'll say that.
Was there any foods that you tried for the first time?
For the first time, I wouldn't say But they did have this really good Thai restaurant like almost across the street, and it was like somewhat cheap for like California prices.
Yeah.
So I was definitely there like almost every weekend. Just like weekend thing because there's not much to do like in that area. But San Francisco was 2 hours away.
Okay. So you got to go to San Fran.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We need to drive and stuff, but it's not bad honestly.
It's like going to Chicago from here.
Yeah. And we did have like an intern meetup for work.
Okay.
And after that, we kind of all connected, and then we made like a group chat.
Okay.
And then like 2 weeks later, we made like a trip to San Francisco.
Okay.
So we would do it ourselves.
Yeah.
But that's part of like life, Sometimes it's not all given to you. Like, oh, you guys can do this, and that. Like we just we had the initiative to actually
plan those things out for yourself.
Yeah. And it was fun, honestly. It was fun.
No, it sounds fun. I mean, I've never been to Cali.
Really?
I've never been to California. Ever.
That was the first time too. So
so I need to go out there, and it's a huge state.
It is.
So I definitely want to go out there and visit San Fran, visit LA, visit SoCal.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much to do. Even like where I was at, honestly, like I say there wasn't much to do compared to the other cities. Like honestly,
yeah, of course.
But like where I was at, it's just so much hiking to do. The weather was nice. I mean, it was hot some days, but like it was always sunny. Like I never saw a drop of rain.
What was the I guess like based on that too. So like was your dress code differently since the temperatures and things like that, or did you go every day like business cash?
Yeah, business casual. Yeah, honestly, there were days I could wear like pants, like nice pants, and maybe like a T-shirt from the company.
Okay, yeah. I get
that. I don't know if that's still categorized as business casual, but
yeah, today for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. That's definitely one of those. Yeah. So like, what would you say is something that, like, we're about to wrap up, but what would you say is something that, like, as an intern, someone who did an internship, that you would tell someone who's thinking about doing an internship, like, some advice about it?
Yeah. I'm gonna say 3 things.
Yeah.
First is say yes to almost everything that's given to you. If you're an intern, they give you an opportunity, say yes to it, even if you don't know how to do it, because that's part of the internship. You're learning, and so if you say yes to something, they know that you're an intern, right? Like they know that you don't have like too much experience. So if you start doing it and you ask for help, they will help you, and then that way you're able to like learn new things. I did that and it worked. Even though in the midst of like my project, like every now and then I will do like little side tasks, not even relevant to like my job honestly or anything, but like it will help me understand healthcare from a bigger perspective, and it could help anybody understand whatever field they're in. That's one thing. Another thing I would say is kind of treat it like an interview every day. Even if you feel like you don't want to work there long term, it's still like a good way to like present yourself every day to a company, because at the end of the day you could use references from there. You could use you say a good word, and third, healthcare specifically, I probably say just keep up to date with healthcare news, because when you're working like inside the workspace, like they talk about it a lot. You kind of want to be informed. You're not really like, expected to, but like if you understand what they're talking about, and you have something to say, or even if you don't, you're just more familiar with everything. You don't feel as lost. And for me, I didn't do that. And they have a lot of like acronyms and stuff like that.
get the jargon,
So if I had done that, I think it would have been more comfortable. But either way, you kind of learn it in the job. Yeah. So but it definitely helps you. So those 3 things, Yeah,
that's good. I mean, is this your first internship, or is your first one?
Yeah.
And you really appreciate and really learned a lot, I can tell.
Yeah.
For sure. I would definitely say for someone out there who's thinking about getting an internship, get as many as you can, because you can learn so much, and people are willing to help students. more than they are with a professional, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's a lot better to, do your best to, meet as many people as you can. And as you said, I like what you said about treating every day like an interview, because there's a lot of times where, yeah, you might not want to work there, but that person sees, oh wow, he's working hard, and they're willing to endorse you on LinkedIn, and they're willing to, think about you when you're not in the room for an opportunity that might arise, right? So, yeah, that's really good. Any last words?
I'd probably say, like, all that advice, like, is obviously easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because, there are going to be days that you're tired, you're just, like, kind of burnt out. Or not even that, just slow days that you just feel kind of slow. But then at work, they require you to be super fast that day for some reason. So it'll be hard, but, like, if one day goes bad, just don't let it, like, ruin your whole experience.
Yeah.
Because if you keep up on doing a good job, like, that day they won't even remember that. Yeah. Honestly. So it will happen. Like anything in life.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all about learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks again for listening to another let me do that again. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening to another intern interview. See you guys next week. Peace out.
If you found this episode helpful, share with your friends and colleagues. Our podcast streams on all platforms that carry a podcast. Follow us on social media, stay up to date on our new projects. Your engagement and support make a significant impact. Until next time, keep exploring, stay inspired, and remember, together we can shape the future of business.